Let's break down those market movements now with David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities. David, many thanks for your time this afternoon. Let's start with that overall performance on the JSE. Not a lot of big moves today, and would it allude to my intro earlier saying that market participants watching very closely at what's going to be coming out of the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, there's normally a little bit of build-up ahead of the Fed Reserve. I think we've had such strong economic data coming out of the United States, so everybody's watching to as to whether Jay Powell or the chairman of the Fed will start to give hints about when they're going to withdraw stimulus. I think this is more anticipation than the actual event. I don't think anything's going to come out of it, and I think the Fed will continue down the same path that they are. But there's always a bit of hesitation. Still, markets globally still very strong. I think driven by some, good results that we're seeing out of tech companies, and also, increasing confidence as economies begin to open up. And we're seeing confidence here as well. It might not be evident, but definite confidence in the markets and what lies ahead.
Stocks in the US really helping the movements we're seeing there. But I was quite intrigued by Huawei reporting lower profits. I think I was a little bit surprised. You think that they're ramping up of purchasing of their products, given that people are working and studying from home with the pandemic. What did you make of those numbers?
Are you talking Huawei? I didn't catch you. I lost you for a second in the as you opened up there. You're talking about the Chinese company.
Yes, Huawei.
Yeah. No, sorry about that. There was a little bit of, you only came in late. No, it's unusual. Look, they've also been under a lot of pressure globally. And, they're very big in 5G. And they've been rejected from most of the European and the United States governments. So I think they're under pressure there. But, if we go beyond that, if we look at other tech results, very strong. We're going to see Apple out today, so it'll give you an idea of whether or not there's any penetration by Apple into the Chinese markets as well. But I think I'm a little disappointed in the fact that, while we are lagging behind, but on the other hand, you've got companies like Ericsson in 5G, which came out with really very good results. So I think it's more political that they've been hurt by what's been happening in that side of the market.
Right, let's focus on some local company trading updates today. We start with the Astral trading update. They're being affected by higher input costs as well as that increasing demand in China.
Yeah, isn't that strange? So, the chickens can never get it right. They never get a nice balance. There's either too much competition, but I think in this sense they couldn't pass the costs on to consumers simply because consumers have been under such a lot of pressure throughout the year. So they've had to absorb the increase in commodities. Commodities is not only metals, not only those heavy things that if you drop on your toe hurt, it's also softer commodities like wheat and corn and I suppose timber's not that soft, but those prices have been going through the roof as well. So it hasn't been confined to metals. It's right across the spectrum of commodities that we've seen prices pick up as things improve. So that's hurt them, and of course you've got to feed chickens. So the cost of feeding them goes up, but we can't pass the price of the chickens on to the consumer.
Right, and then another trading statement that we saw here, the business model for Pepkor working perfectly for it, going for those lower income earning consumers, over 17 million of those being on grants, and they're really raking it in. This is the perfect market for them.
Absolutely. Perfectly placed for what's happening in South Africa. And it doesn't mean, I know you were talking about salaries in your introduction and people are getting more money. They're not going to buy upwards. I think people are used to buying down and will continue to do so. And Pepkor has always been well placed in that area of the market. So it's a very, very good result. And understanding that the comparative numbers on which we're basing the increase were achieved at a time where we weren't under lockdown or for a very short while. So I think it's a superb result, and I know they've sold their building company and that it wasn't part of their core business and that, but a super result, and they were up 5% as a consequence.
Super result indeed, David Shapiro. They're giving us a wrap of the markets day.